For over 10 years, Canada has been on the verge of joining the US in a monumental venture to acquire F-35 fighter jets, a deal worth billions. But recent communications from Ottawa raise a startling question: is this ambitious project about to be scrapped? As trade tensions flare, the potential fallout over costs and tariffs looms large. Key among the discussions is the SA Gripen, a strong contender that emerged during the lengthy procurement process. However, the economic implications of matching high tariffs have grown daunting. Prime Minister Mark Carney now urges re-evaluation of the $13.2 billion F-35 deal amid growing domestic concerns in Canada regarding military readiness and U.S. trade relations. As whispers of a potential exit from the F-35 program echo in the halls of power, what alternative fighter jet might the nation pursue? Could Canada forge a tighter alliance with European defense manufacturers as tensions with the United States heighten? The quest for a viable substitute leads us to explore why Canada may consider swapping the American F-35 for the Swedish Gripen, a fighter jet with a compelling track record. The roots of Canada's F-35 ambitions stretch back to the 2010s. Initially seen as a collaboration opportunity within the Joint Strike Fighter project, Canada's involvement spurred hopes of a next-generation aircraft equipped with advanced technology to replace aging CF-18 Hornets. The F-35 was rapidly being adopted by NATO as Canada sought to maintain interoperability with its allies. But then the winds shifted. The tariffs imposed during the Trump administration ignited resentment, sparking doubts about the wisdom of remaining tethered to U.S. manufacturing. The financial burdens and maintenance challenges associated with the F-35 have become increasingly pronounced, with reports revealing the Canadian Air Force is operating at a startling 40% readiness rate. The realities of a complex logistics and maintenance infrastructure loom large, raising pointed questions. If Canada commits to such an expensive aircraft, who ensures its operational readiness? And could a fractured relationship with the U.S. shift the focus toward Europe for solutions? As Europe braces for a significant leap in defense production amidst an evolving security landscape, the question becomes clearer: will Canada turn to European models like the Eurofighter Typhoon or Rafale, or even the budget-friendly Gripen? These nations are ramping up military spending in response to the current geopolitical climate, hinting at self-sufficiency in defense production. Observers speculate that Canada could snag a much better deal by sourcing military assets through bulk procurement. As we dissect the options laid before Canada, could it indeed choose to pivot from the F-35? Among the contenders, the Eurofighter Typhoon stands out, boasting formidable capabilities, though lacking stealth features, while the Rafale promises multi-role versatility. The Gripen, however, shines with its cost efficiency and adaptability to rugged environments. Could Canada shed its alliance with U.S. defense projects and establish a new partnership with Europe? Engaging with the European defense industry could be not just a strategic pivot but a profound reimagining of military readiness. The atmosphere buzzes with questions: will Canada's defense trajectory change course? How far will it venture from the F-35? As discussions intensify, the answers could reshape North American defense alliances for years to come. Canadian Air Force longed for a fifth-generation fighter brimming with cutting-edge sensors and weapons to swap out their worn-out CF-18 Hornets. The F-35 surged as a booming platform across NATO. Thus, Canada clung to the mantra of staying in sync with allies. But imagine the thunderous clap of trade wars echoing across borders, sparked by Trump's tariffs and clashing frictions that jolted Canada and the U.S. apart. Why bend over backward for every American deal? Can you feel the sting of betrayal? Criticism of the F-35's soaring costs and grueling upkeep now roars louder than ever before. Picture the chill of doubt creeping in. Whispers claim the Canadian Air Force stands at a paltry 40% readiness. Reports paint a grim picture: fleets plagued by upkeep nightmares, sluggish productivity, desperate pilot voids, and vanishing spare parts. The roar of engines falls silent without rock-solid logistics. Toss in a beast like the F-35, and maintenance morphs into a relentless battle. Ottawa's defense minds demand: who vows to keep this pricey bird airborne? What if tensions with the U.S. ground us? Staying allied offers perks, but is Uncle Sam a steadfast buddy anymore? Europe looms as a tantalizing escape, doesn't it? Feel the pulse quicken as European Union nations gear up for a defense surge, battling the war-triggered turmoil. From Germany to France, Italy to Spain, budgets swell dramatically. The cry for self-reliant military might grows urgent. Witness factories humming with boosted output for jets like the Eurofighter Typhoon, Dassault Rafale, or Saab Gripen, infused with next-gen avionics. The European Commission eyes shared funding for joint builds. Observers speculate, ditch the F-35, and Canada might snag a sweeter, bulk purchase bargain from Europe. So, let's plunge into the heart-pounding question. Which jet could Canada choose instead of the F-35? 3 European heavyweights emerge. Eurofighter Typhoon. Dassault Rafale. Saab Gripen E or F. We must dissect each one's strengths and flaws, chewing on upkeep bills, bang for buck, raw power, and battlefield edge. The air crackles with uncertainty. Will Canada shrug off American chains for Europe's embrace? And if they do, what wild twists await in the skies above? As tensions rise over the future of Canada's participation in the F-35 fighter jet project, crucial questions emerge. What happens if Canada pulls out? The country needs to look at 3 key alternatives: the Eurofighter Typhoon, the Dassault Rafale, and the Swedish Saab Gripen. Each comes with its own set of advantages and challenges that could redefine Canada's air defense strategy. Eurofighter Typhoon, a collaboration between the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, and Spain. The Eurofighter Typhoon is a remarkable aircraft in the 4th-generation category. While it lacks the stealth capabilities of the F-35, it's a formidable air combat fighter. With specifications tailored for high-altitude and long-range engagements, it offers significant advantages for patrolling Canada's expansive northern landscapes. Although its maintenance costs are slightly lower than those of the F-35, they still present a considerable price tag. Moreover, logistical issues can arise from its multinational spare parts consortium, complicating repairs and upgrades. With a price that is not as steep as the F-35, Canada must ponder whether the Typhoon truly represents a future-proof solution. Dassault Rafale now. Let's dive into the Rafale, a versatile masterpiece from France that excels across multiple combat domains, including air superiority, ground attacks, and naval operations. While its stealth is not on par with the F-35, it boasts a sophisticated design that minimizes its radar signature. Countries such as India and Greece have expressed their satisfaction with the Rafale's performance. If Canada can establish an efficient support network, potential issues could be mitigated. However, the cost dynamics remain a question. Can its pricing compete with the F-35 effectively? Strategic partnerships and country-based agreements might play a crucial role in determining its viability for Canada. Could these aircraft redefine the way Canada approaches its national defense? What will the ramifications be if there's a shift in allegiance away from American technology toward European alternatives? The clock is ticking, and war drums echo, signaling a crucial decision on the horizon. Imagine a world where the skies above Canada might soon be filled with a different roar, a roar not from the formidable F-35, but potentially from European alternatives. As whispers emerge of Canada reconsidering its decades-long partnership with the US for fighter jets, one has to ask, could Canada truly be on the brink of a historic shift in its defense strategy? Previously, it was argued that if France can organize its support effectively, Canada could avoid potential pitfalls. The Rafale, with its impressive engine power, aerodynamic finesse, and elevated standards, offers a compelling alternative in terms of operational capabilities. While its costs may be slightly more appealing compared to the Eurofighter Typhoon, the question of whether it is cheaper than the F-35 remains unanswered, an enigma that varies based on deals struck by individual nations. Now, let's take a closer look at the Rafale. With its exceptional maneuverability and twin-engine might, it stands out as a formidable candidate for long-range missions across Canada's vast northern territories. Yet, there lingers a shadow of doubt. Its integration within the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is not as established as that of the F-35. Despite this, some voices in Ottawa are advocating for a partnership with France, reflecting a desire to forge new alliances. Then there's the Swedish Gripen. Renowned for its affordability, low maintenance, and adaptability to frigid climates, it might just be the compelling option Canada needs. Some say its effectiveness shines particularly bright in scenarios requiring short runway operations. But can the Gripen E or F truly meet the demanding expectations of Canadian forces, both in reliability and range? Designed for the harshest of Scandinavian conditions, it promises ease of maintenance and operational efficiency. Additionally, its cost-effectiveness stands out, allowing Canada to procure a more extensive fleet without the looming burden of high maintenance fees. However, there's a cautionary whisper in the air. Critics express concerns that the Gripen may fall short for missions requiring advanced stealth capabilities or heavier payloads. So, as Canada weighs its options, will it shy away from the heavy artillery of American models like the Boeing F-15X, which remains tethered to U.S. interests? Or will Ottawa seize the moment to disentangle from American dependence and openly pursue a strategic partnership with European nations? The winds of change are stirring, and the prospect of a significant pivot in Canada's military procurement looms large. Could this be the dawn of a new era in Canada's defense industry? Stay tuned, for the next chapter may unveil unexpected twists that redefine the very fabric of Canadian military strategy. In a time of mounting tensions, Canada stands at a crossroads regarding its defense strategy. The nation has been contemplating a long-term partnership with the United States to obtain advanced fighter jets. However, shifting political winds have led to bold discussions about pivoting towards Europe instead. Could this be the moment Canada redefines its defense landscape? As the European Union ramps up its defense spending amidst the ongoing conflict in Eastern Europe, voices from Ottawa suggest that linking up with European manufacturers could bring not only economic benefits but also a stronger defense coalition. If Canada joins European order chains, it could drastically reduce unit costs and enhance logistical support. How might this shift impact Canada's defense readiness? The F-35, with its cutting-edge fifth-generation technology, looms large in the conversation. Its high performance is undeniable, but the staggering maintenance costs are raising alarms. In direct contrast, the Swedish Gripen is celebrated for its affordability and lower upkeep. While it may lack the advanced stealth capabilities of the F-35, do its other advantages compensate enough for a northern country like Canada, desperate for reliable aircraft? Typhoon and Rafale also emerge as contenders, occupying a middle ground in both maintenance costs and operational effectiveness. Given the Royal Canadian Air Force's alarmingly low readiness rate of just 40%, the quest for an aircraft that marries operational efficiency with maintainability becomes urgent. Will the Gripen excel in Canada's chilly climate? While the Typhoon and Rafale face more logistical hurdles? Politically, this moment poses a crucial question: can Canada embrace a deeper integration with Europe? As trade frictions with the United States become more pronounced, Ottawa seems poised to explore alternatives on the continent. If the F-35 contract falls through, it might signal a significant shift away from reliance on American defense systems. How will the dynamics of joint operations and existing defense agreements with the U.S. unfold in this new context? The stakes couldn't be higher, and the decisions made in the following months will reverberate for years. With Canada weighing the costs and benefits of potential aircraft, it's time to ask, could this pivot toward Europe finally redefine Canadian defense, or will the allure of American technology prove too strong to resist? In the previous segment, we explored the potential cancellation of Canada's F-35 deal as a bargaining chip against United States tariffs, leaving open the question of whether negotiation could salvage the project or push Ottawa toward European alliances. Imagine the cold steel grip of uncertainty tightening around Canada's defense strategy like frost creeping across Canada's northern terrains, biting with chilling silence. Could a mere whisper of cancellation force the United States to back down from crippling tariffs? Or is this gamble a hidden dagger poised to sever ties forever? Still, if Ottawa openly voices the threat of scrapping the F-35 program, the United States might heed Canada's pleas on tariffs. A compromise could emerge, rescuing the deal. This maneuvering might just be a savvy play in high-stakes diplomacy. Polls in Canadian media reveal the Gripen E surging in popularity because of its affordability and practicality. Enthusiasts of the Typhoon hail its NATO compatibility and unmatched air superiority. Rafale advocates push for strategic independence, boasting its multi-role versatility and Franco-European innovation. High-ranking officers in the Canadian Air Force insist the F-35 delivers cutting-edge tech for seamless NATO and United States integrations. But if political tensions with the United States escalate, shifting toward Europe adds layers to their evaluations. The scent of jet fuel lingers in the air, engines roaring like distant thunder as pilots grip controls, feeling the vibrations of impending change. What if ditching the F-35 ignites a chain reaction? Humiliating American manufacturers and handing Canada a seat at Europe's defense table? Picture Lockheed Martin executives sweating under pressure, their dominance crumbling. Should Canada hastily tender for a new fleet, it could finalize procurement in 1 or 2 years. Yet, domestic firms like Bombardier warn against it. Watch carefully, ending F-35 ties might cripple industrial partnerships with the United States, slashing revenue streams like a sudden blizzard. They caution, clashing with the United States could devastate us economically. This reinforces worries that axing the F-35 might bleed Ottawa dry. Internal factions pull Canada in conflicting directions, economic and strategic voices clash like icy winds colliding. On the flip side, ramping up European defense production offers a warmer alliance, potentially weaving Bombardier into European ventures. Canadian ingenuity could fuel future aircraft or drone projects abroad, the hum of innovation filling workshops with determination. Could this European pivot humiliate the United States on the global stage, exposing America's tariffs as blunders? The unexpected twist, Europe's embrace might reveal hidden strengths, transforming Canada's vulnerabilities into triumphs. In a world where decisions about military power can shape nations, Canada stands at a pivotal crossroads, considering its involvement in the F-35 fighter jet program. For over 10 years, Canada has engaged with the United States on this multi-billion-dollar endeavor. However, recent developments from Ottawa have sparked speculation on whether this monumental project will face cancellation. Imagine the clamor of warplanes, the roar of engines, and the tension in the air as Canada re-evaluates its choices. The F-35, designed by Lockheed Martin, has long been heralded for its cutting-edge technology. But rising trade concerns, internal political pressures, and the shock of having only a fraction of the Air Force fully operational, 40%, pose significant questions. Can Canada still rely on the US as a partner when tensions over trade and costs grow? What if Canada turns away from the F-35? They may look toward Europe for alternatives, especially with European nations ramping up defense production amidst ongoing global unrest. The landscape is shifting, and Canada's military choices could redefine its alliances. Will they embrace the Swedish Gripen or perhaps the Eurofighter Typhoon? The details evade easy answers, and subtle nuances could have profound implications. Look at the impressive options on the table: the Gripen E or F from Sweden, light, cost-effective, and adept in colder climates. But can it withstand the rigors needed for complex missions? Or consider the Rafale, a versatile aircraft that excels in multiple combat scenarios. Yet, can it offer the reliability the Canadian Air Force desperately needs? As Canada weighs its options, the stakes are high. They could either strengthen ties with Europe, gaining not just new technology but perhaps a fresh source of defense partners, or risk isolation. But what happens to the current fleet of aging CF-18s during this transition? The clock is ticking, and each decision weighs heavily. In the shadows of these discussions, savvy observers are quietly asking, is this confrontation with the US just a strategy to gain leverage? Leaked insights suggest that if the F-35 deal crumbles, Canada is already eyeing European aircraft as alternatives. Yet, an unexpected twist looms. Even if Canada commits to purchasing dozens of new jets, how long will they wait for these complex machines to arrive? As the air crackles with tension, Canada must decide. Will they seize this moment as an opportunity to redefine their military presence in a changing world, or will they retreat into the safety of familiar alliances? With every moment that passes, the urgency intensifies. The fate of Canada's skies and their strategic independence hangs in the balance. The question remains, is the F-35 deal at risk, or is it merely the beginning of a bold new chapter in Canada's defense strategy? For more than a decade, Canada has set its sights on joining the prestigious F-35 fighter jet project, investing billions into the hope of alliance with the United States. However, as whispers from Ottawa echo through the corridors of power, the fate of this monumental deal hangs in the balance. What's behind this stir of uncertainty? Could Canada really back away from the prospect of owning the powerful F-35? With a history intertwined in the design and development of the F-35, Canada appeared committed to the venture until recent events created doubt. Rising political tensions and trade disputes have left many questioning the reliability of the U.S. as a partner. Amidst this turmoil, Canadian defense officials contemplate bold alternatives, examining whether to pivot toward European manufacturers. Could the Swedish Gripen, known for its cost-effectiveness and adaptability to cold conditions, be the key to unlocking Canada's aerial future? Or will the French Rafale, celebrated for its versatility, be the best bet? Meanwhile, discussions are heating up around the Eurofighter Typhoon, a powerhouse in air command but burdened by higher operational costs. Are these European jets a riskier option, or a strategic play for independence? As Canada contemplates its choices, the clock is ticking. With only 40% of its current fleet operational and pressure mounting, the urgency to make a calculated decision grows. The wrong move could cripple their air defense capability, leaving the nation vulnerable. What's next for the Canadian Air Force? If they abandon the lofty ambitions surrounding the F-35, they must carefully consider the jet that can provide true aerial supremacy while ensuring high readiness rates. The debate swirls through the halls of Ottawa as voices from all sides weigh in. Experts argue that forging stronger ties with Europe could lead to cheaper procurement and even a chance for Canadian companies to shine as subcontractors. But, can Canada afford to sever ties with a powerful ally? The specter of critical defense collaboration, like the North American Aerospace Defense Command, looms large, creating a palpable tension in the air. Moreover, if decision-makers choose the Gripen for its low maintenance needs, could they still compete against advanced Russian or Chinese stealth capabilities? Some believe future advancements in drone technology could bridge this gap, allowing Canada to maintain its operational effectiveness without relying solely on the F-35 network. With the political waters murky and opinions sharply divided, the question remains, which fighter jet will ascend as Canada's savior? As discussions unfold, the landscape of military aviation is shifting. Could we see a tactical retreat or a powerful leap forward? The next chapters in Canada's defense strategy promise to be filled with twists and turns, leaving us on the edge of our seats, wondering what will happen next. For over a decade, Canada has been eyeing the American F-35 fighter jet program, hoping to secure a multi-billion-dollar deal. Yet recently, whispers from Ottawa hint at a potential cancellation of this massive initiative, sparking debates over trade tensions and the nation's defense strategy. As Canada weighs its options, will it stick with the pricey F-35 or pivot towards alternatives from Europe? Amidst wrestling trade disputes with the U.S., Prime Minister Mark Carney has ordered a thorough review of the F-35 contract valued at $13.2 billion. Could rising domestic concerns and its uncovering readiness, plagued by maintenance woes and pilot shortages, be enough for Ottawa to abandon ship? In this context, the question looms, could Canada replace its aspirations with alternatives like Sweden's Gripen, the French Rafale, or the Eurofighter Typhoon? Flashback to that fateful day when a weary pilot gazed at his aging CF-18 Hornet. The sound of maintenance crews bustling in the background layered with the smell of jet fuel filled him with unease. Could he rely on this old bird to protect the skies? As the clock ticks down, speculations rise. The Gripen, lauded for its affordability and operational ease, seems more than just a backup plan. However, what about the Rafale or the Typhoon, known for their firepower? Ottawa's looming decisions are complicated, a geopolitical chess game that touches upon alliances with France, the UK, or Switzerland. Could the echoes of trade disputes lead to the groundbreaking choice of shifting towards European jets? Some critics label concerns over the F-35 as tactics to pressure the US for better terms. But if Canada forges a partnership with European manufacturers to procure dozens of new combat aircraft, it could signal a historic break from established norms. What if Ottawa's new alignment with European defense spending unfolded just when the continent amplifies its military initiatives amidst global insecurities? Would Canada's departure from the F-35 be seen as a reckless gamble? As Ottawa prepares to confront a series of defining questions, whether to embrace newer aircraft that suit its vast northern terrain or to renew its commitment to U.S. manufacturing, the nation stands at a crossroads. With the future of its aerial defenses hanging precariously, all eyes are on Canada to determine its strategic fate. In the coming days, a concrete decision on the F-35 contract awaits, and the implications could reshape security and partnerships for years to come. What do you think? Is it time for Canada to shift gears away from the F-35? Or would it serve the country better to address its challenges with the US and aim for a powerful stealth fleet? The stakes could not be higher. Picture this, a snow-covered Canadian horizon, where the roar of fighter jets echoes like thunder over frozen tundras. The sky is alight with tension, as Ottawa grapples with a bombshell revelation. For over a decade, Canada has courted the United States F-35 project, a multi-billion-dollar pact poised to arm the Royal Canadian Air Force. Yet, whispers from Ottawa hinted doom. Could this colossal deal, shrouded in trade wars and soaring costs, crumble into dust? Is Canada about to ditch America's stealthy giants for Europe's alluring alternatives? Imagine the chill wind whipping across Ottawa's corridors of power. Politicians huddle, the air thick with the scent of coffee and impending crisis. Prime Minister Mark Carney has unleashed his defense ministry on a $13.2 billion F-35 review. Why? Rising domestic fury and U.S. tariffs claw at the fragile alliance. Opponents scream, these jets are cash sinks, bleeding billions. Critics brand them too expensive to risk. And Canada's air fleet? Only 40% ready, pilots scarce, parts vanishing. The heart-pounding truth hits hard. Without ironclad logistics, even a beast like the F-35 could limp, unusable in battle. If Ottawa cancels, what next? European eagles like the Saab Gripen beckon, promising cold-weather prowess and budget relief. But shocks lurk. Will trading American ties ignite a transatlantic firestorm? Cliffhanger alert, as Ottawa dithers, a stormy decision looms. Will the North's Guardians switch sides, or Frankenstein fight the F-35 to life? Recalling how trade frictions with the Trump era battered Canada's dreams, sparking backlash and deep wounds. Now, under mounting costs, public